practicing?
Yes, I do.
Oh, so beautiful.
Yes. It's amazing that I'm here at this point.
I think one of the what bring me to do that is because I look at you, and I know lots of people look at you and see the beauty. You know, you don't lost the beauty. You sustain that, keep it that. And I think so beautiful because I think Ashtanga Yoga is a strong, and how we can balance both energy, yin and yang.
Yes.
Energy in Ashtanga Yoga.
Yes.
What can
I could say a lot about that. I've discovered through this long practice that I have tapped into that darkness, or that which I consider feminine, and and what has come forth and what has nourished me and taught me has come from the unknown, rather than from studying texts.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, my approach right there has come out of my connection to the earth, my connection to the practice, my connection to trusting my intuition, my allowing rather than pushing has been a real key. Years ago on Maui, some people I knew were very turned off to Ashtanga because they felt it was very aggressive. And when they'd see me practice, they'd say, oh, I could do what you do, because they experienced me as flowing and allowing. So I would say, for whatever reason, from the beginning, my practice has had that quality.
Right. And we can feel that.
Oh, good.
Okay. In the shamanism, how did you integrate the shamanism?
Do you have a big experience with shamanism?
Well, I have done many. I've included many things on my spiritual journey, and I was not attracted to the idea of shamanism without knowing what it was. Mm-hmm. And a very good friend of mine, it turns out that she had developed a very strong relationship to shamanism, not with psychotropic plants, but through journeying to the lower world and the upper worlds, and she did soul retrieval work. So through her, I learned to journey, and I came to see that it's the oldest healing connection there is. Yeah. So I really came to recognize that, and I never did a lot of, how do I say this? It's been important to me, and it's really supported my path in Ashtanga, but I have never sought out to be, quote, quote, a shaman. It's more that I have integrated and used and felt the healing that has come from retrieval of soul parts, discovering power animals through having wisdom come from native guides that would come to me. And it all happened through the drum, where you lie and receive, and then through the drum it takes you down again. So I had very real, very profound and nourishing experiences through it. And powerful.
And they empower the woman, the sacred feminine.
Yes, it's empowering us to honor, to really honor our own beings. Yeah. And one of the things that I've recognized, for years when I started teaching, I wished that I had a male to teach with, but there was nobody at that time. And so what happened is I've discovered my own voice. Oh. So now it doesn't matter who I'm with. I feel connected inside to my own voice. I feel that I'm an alpha, I'm strong, but I've also been told, and Patricia may have heard this, I've been told this from different people that have invited me to teach, that I'm as strong as I am soft. So that there's that balance. Yes. So I know how to go in there and really go for it inside myself. But I don't do that to other people. It's more like encouraging people to come out.
Awareing.
Well, find out what's in there and come forth, but not by external pushing, by supporting. So, yeah, so I feel very connected to the feminine. Again, my way of learning has been more intuitive and more listening and letting it come out of the darkness, out of the unknown, out of just more direct.
And have the courage to go to darkness as well.
Yeah.
I think it's so important.
Yes, and that's part of the healing journey.
The emotional.
And the emotional healing. And I can't speak for anyone else, but I've had my own share of samsara, conditioned existence, that I've needed to find my way through to see what is true. And so there's a fierceness in that, in being able to stand and wanting to stand and go on that journey, but not a hardness, right? Like energy for it and a drive, but not. So here's an example. When I started practicing, it was just like it was my practice. So for 2 years, I practiced first and second series.
First and second.
I learned, after 1 month, I learned second series, and then for 2 years. Then I went back to Hawaii, where David and Nancy had said, come back in 2 years. And I began learning Advanced A, which is 3 and 4, and then eventually 5 and 6. I had to do that. I loved it. I wanted it. It was in me to do that.
Yeah.
It's not in everybody. Many people can have a wonderful practice doing the primary series, or they can be nourished doing second. I had to do it all. And again, it's revealed incredible presence and truth, and it's been a wonderful teacher. But not everybody has to do that, but I had to do that. I had to. It was like
Because you,
my own being. It wasn't intellectual. I just was drawn.
like you're so
Yeah.
needed that.
And my body, I can trust my body and my body's experience. And my intuition grew out of that. And, it's sort of like many people do spiritual work. They might meditate and they might study different traditions, but they're not necessarily very grounded in their body or very healthy in their body. And to me, that's always been, because a lot of people have judgment about the body. It's not necessary, it's superficial, and to me they're denying what I would call the feminine sacred. By thinking they're superior, that their mind or their spirituality is superior to the body, that it's not all one. To me, it's all connected. So, and what I've realized in recent years in teaching and working with women especially, is to support them to honor themselves and not to have male voices telling them to be superior. In fact, some years ago, probably 10 years ago, I was living in the mountains in Colorado for the summer, and somebody told me I should go see these two women. One was psychic, and the other one was a massage therapist, and they worked together. So I went to see them, and I'm laying on the table, and this one woman said, well, what's her name? Oh God, right off the top. All these different deities came in that you've heard of, but Kali came in. Said you have a lot of Kali nature, but you don't allow it to show because you judge it as being bad. And by the end of this time I was with them, and it was all pretty crazy sounding to me on one level because it was so out there to me. But they said, your teaching will be for the feminine because it needs to find balance in this world. You do not have to go out and study about it. It will just come. And I realize now that has actually happened, but it hasn't happened. So there's a fierceness in just standing to be and honoring myself.
I thought so interesting you telling us today that about to breathe with our back, to aware our in energy. So beautiful, because I have never listened it. Né? Okay, here is solar energy, and here
It's lunar energy.
beautiful. So this way you are balancing this energy
Right.
in the Ashtanga Yoga.
Right. Very nice how you put that.
Yeah. And
And
Shavasana
also,
as
yes, Shavasana, that's come as a big teaching to me. It's just revealed itself to me over time. Because I think it's pretty lost in this day and age. There's a lead class, you lie down, 4 minutes later everybody's up. Nobody's really experiencing
It's
that
like the
deep.
maternal,
Yeah.
energia maternal.
Yeah.
In the body psychology, we think it's very important to reveal the maternal energy.
Mhm.
And Shavasana is a time that is a moment that you are
Receptive. Right.
receptive. Yes,
right.
yes.
Whereas many people who come to this practice, they want to do that, but when it comes time for this, oh, I'm too restless, and they don't allow it. And it's a real surrender to let go
Surround you, and it's
and
so
be present
and it's so feminine. Yes.
and to heal, to allow the healing. Right.
Do you agree with me that lots of women are forgetting to perceive it, to aware
Yes,
this in energy?
yes. In California where I live, a friend of mine is a doula who assists in birth, not the midwife, but an assistant. And she said a lot of young women, they go to school, then they have a career, then they get married, they're going to have a baby, and they're not in touch with their connection to the earth. They have a hard time giving birth. It's much harder. She said she's had to really do classes with women to help them honor themselves more, because they're used to being on this
Masculine level energy.
on this masculine path
Yeah.
to success. Maybe there's fear of what that is, or not the connection to their power to find out what is in there. Not every, we're all different. Not everyone's attractive. But my external view of the goddess trip is it's wanting to be feminine, but it isn't really going in and being a strong mirror and really taking on that growth. To me, that's what I love about the Ashtanga.
Yeah, because
It's very
your way
transformative.
to teach is like that,
Yeah? Okay.